Good morning and welcome to Melrose Unitarian Universalist Church. Our service today is called When Caring Becomes Real. The UUA theme of this month is justice and equity. We'll be exploring that theme today, and then I will be exploring it again on February 25th when I am back with you. This morning we have a couple of announcements. First, I want to make sure that you check out the announcement from the Religious Education Committee for Soul Collage, which is happening this coming Saturday. It is a not-to-be-missed workshop, and there are limited number of spaces of how many can attend. So if you want to make sure that you get a spot, please make sure to sign up, see the website, the midweek update, or maybe Florence would be happy to help you, okay? And we have one other announcement. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm really excited to announce that after a 5-year hiatus, the Cape Cod Retreat for Women, Feminine Identifying, Non-Binary, and LGBTQ+ folks is happening May 3rd through 5th at the Craigville Conference Center on the Cape. Yay! Our theme this year is Renewing Spirits, Strengthening Connections. And I will have a table at coffee hour for anyone that would like more information or would like to go ahead and register. First-timers are especially welcome. And I just want to also mention that next week there'll be a Valentine's Day sale after church, a coffee hour, and that raises funds to offset the cost of the retreat to anyone that needs financial assistance. So don't let that be a deterrent. So please consider joining us. The more the merrier.
Thank you. My name is Reverend Susan Sahusky Brown. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I and the rest of the worship team, the lay leaders and staff choose to share our pronouns because we know people of all genders are whole, loved, and always welcome. I am really glad that you could be here this morning. I am with you while Reverend Suzanne is on a well-earned sabbatical, and she will be returning in early April. So welcome, one and all. We are a church of open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. And all who share our values are welcome here with us. And now I would invite you in that time-honored tradition that we have established to greet one another into our worship service. Please say hello to the person beside you, behind you, near you, in front of you, and then when you have done that, wave and say hello to all the people, far and near. We have some helpers this morning that I want to thank. We have Jeannie and Harry, who are our coffee host, and then our usher is Michael, and our greeter is Nancy. And we are so glad. We need lots and lots of people to make things happen. And so I would invite you to be in this presence, in this sacred place, to be here and to worship together. And I am going to share these words from the Gray Hymnal as our opening words. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to this entire universe, to this community, and to each other. And for those connections, we are ever, ever so grateful. And we will now light the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, and I'm hoping that someone had volunteered for this. Thank you.
get it, I'll get it. I invite you now to rise in body and spirit and join me in the words of our covenant. You'll see it on the screen behind me. Let me light the Thank you for being patient. Oh, there it is. I found it. I guess I'm out of practice. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. This is our great covenant, one with another and with our God.
Thank you. And we have opening hymn number 347. The words are in the gray hymnal or on the board here. Please join in singing one of my favorites, 347. Thank you. Katie is home ill, and so Florence will be sharing our story this morning.
Good morning. Our story today is Each Kindness by Jacqueline Woodson, illustrated by E.B. Lewis. That winter, snow fell on everything, turning the world a brilliant white. One morning, as we settled into our seats, the classroom door opened and the principal came in. She had a girl with her, and she said to us, "This is Maya." Maya looked down at the floor. I think I heard her whisper, "Hello." We all stared at her. Her coat was open, and the clothes behind it looked old and ragged. Her shoes were spring shoes, not meant for snow. A strap on one of them had broken. Our teacher, Miss Albert, said, "Say good morning to our new student," but most of us were silent. The only empty seat was next to me. That's where our teacher put Maya, and on that first day, Maya turned to me and smiled. But I didn't smile back. I moved my chair, myself, and my books a little further away. When she looked my way, I turned to the window and stared out at the snow. And every day after that, when Maya came into the classroom, I looked away and didn't smile back. My best friends that year were Kendra and Sophie. At lunchtime, we walked around the schoolyard, our fingers laced together, whispering secrets into each other's ears. One day, while we were near the slide, Maya came over to us. She held open her hand to show us the shiny jacks and tiny red balls she'd gotten for her birthday. "It's a high bouncer," she said, but none of us wanted to play. So Maya played a game against herself. That afternoon, when we got back into the classroom, Maya whispered to me, "Bet you can't guess who the new Jacks champion of the world is." Behind me, Andrew whispered, "Chloe's got a new friend. Chloe's got a new friend." "She's not my friend," I whispered back. The weeks passed. Every day we whispered about Maya, laughing at her clothes, her shoes, the strange food she brought for lunch. Some days, Maya held out her hand to show what she had brought to school: a deck of cards, pickup sticks, a small tattered doll. Whenever she asked us to play, we said no. The days grew warmer and warmer. The pond thawed. Grass began growing where snow had once been. One day, Maya came to school wearing a pretty dress and fancy shoes, but the shoes and dress looked like they'd belonged to another girl before Maya. "I have a new name for her," Kendra whispered. "Never knew. Everything she has came from a secondhand store." We all laughed. Maya stood by the fence. She was holding a jump rope, but did not come over to ask if we wanted to play. After a while, she folded it double, rolled the ends around each hand, and started jumping. She jumped around the whole schoolyard without stopping. She didn't look up once, just jumped, jumped, jumped. The next day, Maya's seat was empty. In class that morning, we were talking about kindness. Ms. Albert had brought a big bowl into class and filled it with water. We all gathered around her desk and watched her drop a small stone into it. Tiny waves rippled out away from the stone. "This is what kindness does," Miss Albert said. "Each little thing we do goes out like a ripple into the world." Then Miss Albert let us each drop the stone in as we told her what kind things we had done. Joseph had held the door for his grandmother. Kendra helped change her baby brother's diaper. Even mean old Andrew had done something. "I carried teacher's books up the stairs," he said, and Miss Albert said it was true. I stood there, holding Miss Albert's rock in my hand, silent. "Even small things count," Miss Albert said gently, but I couldn't think of anything and passed the stone on. Maya didn't come back to school the next day, or the day after that. Each morning, I walked to school slowly, hoping this would be the day Maya returned and she'd look at me and smile. I promised myself this would be the day I smiled back. "Each kindness," Miss Albert had said, "makes the whole world a little bit better." But Maya's seat remained empty, and one day, Miss Albert announced to the class that Maya wouldn't be coming back. Her family had to move away, Miss Albert said. Then she told us to take out our notebooks. It was time for spelling. That afternoon, I walked home alone. When I reached the pond, my throat filled with all the things I wished I would have said to Maya, each kindness I had never shown. I threw small stones into it over and over, watching the way the water rippled out and away, out and away. Like each kindness, done and not done. Like every small girl somewhere holding a small gift out to someone, and that someone turning away from it. I watched the water ripple as the sun set through the maples, and the chance of a kindness with Maya became more and more forever gone. Thank you. Children may now leave for RE.
At the center of our service, we create together a time of quiet, a moment of prayer and reflection, a chance to reconnect with ourselves or our highest ideals, our sense of the holy, or whatever you conceive of as needing during this moment of silence. So I would invite you to begin this time by closing your eyes and just breathing deeply. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your body relaxing into the seat. I would invite you just to breathe in and breathe out. And then we are going to sing a centering song. For this month, it'll be Comfort Me. And then we are going to sit for a few moments after we have shared our song. And then we will take time to speak to one another of our joys and sorrows and hear a prayer. Connect with yourself, feel centered, join in the music, and center yourself and feel present here and now. It is also our tradition to share sorrows or joys with one another at this time. So we speak and listen with care so that our sharing knits us together in a community of strength and love and of caring. If you have a sorrow to share, I would invite those who are listening online to write your sorrow in the chat box, and I will read them aloud. But first, I will invite anyone in the sanctuary who wishes to come forward and share. Right? With you, and we will light a candle for all those sorrows that you have, that you bring with you, that you carry. Know that you're not alone. And now if anyone has a joy that they would like to share, we would ask you to type them in the chat, and then I'll read them aloud. And anyone in the sanctuary who has joys to share, we would love to hear your joys. Sharing makes us a much stronger and better people and community.
Whoops. Well, this is a little bit longer. Last summer, my cat died of cancer. And I couldn't come up and say that. But so I said, I'm not getting another cat. So guess where I was in January? Up at Northeastern getting a cat. A lovely little cat that came from South Carolina. They bring them up, I think, 4 or 5 times a month. Cats that, mostly dogs that are about to be, and I put to sleep. So I have this lovely little cat, and she is 6.5 pounds, and that's all she's ever going to be. She's so lively. She seems very happy to be in Massachusetts.
I'm Doug, and this is Ann, and this is more of a celebration than a joy. I think Ann shared a couple weeks ago that my father passed away, Bill Dick, in South Dakota, where he lived all of his 92 years. And I just wanted to celebrate his life and the almost 71 years that my mom and my dad were together, which was a real blessing. And I really look at it that way now. And I also wanted to celebrate this group of people, this community, because I got lots of cards and well wishes, and it really makes a big difference knowing you're part of a community like this.
My name is Wendy Mastronardi. Just a candle of joy for the city of Malden that I'm teaching in newly this year, and just have to share this awesome Malden Reads. I'll put it on the table out there. It's called Being Human, and it's called An Unrepentant Memoir of a Disability Rights Activist. The woman's name is Judith Human, spelled a little, and yay Malden.
And now we will light let's see. I'm joyous about the physical strength God and my therapist has helped me find, writes Faith Doyle to everyone. So we're happy that you have joys to share with all of us. And please, if you are struggling, find someone to talk with before you leave here today. Do not leave here carrying a sorrow without sharing it. And also, we love to hear your joys as well. So we will light a candle now for all those joys shared, and may they bless us in this community. If you would join me in an attitude of prayer, please. Holy One of blessing, gracious are we for the time that we spend together, the beauty this time of year for groundhogs, and the reminder that seasons change, that life changes, that transformation happens. For all that is in our life that makes us who we are, we give thanks, and for all those people in our lives, even those who challenge us, we give thanks. For we are always reminded that graciousness and love is an opportunity for us to learn, to share, and to be. So, Holy One, we are gathered here on this glorious and sunny day to be reminded of the preciousness of life and the life of everyone around us. May it be so. Amen.
Now is the time for our offertory. Our church is a self-supporting organization funded by your generous annual pledge. You may also contribute to our weekly collection plate, which we split every month with a deserving cause. Folks on Zoom can donate either way using the orange button at the top right corner of our homepage at melroseuu.org. For the month of February, this church will be giving half of our collection plate to the Immigrant Support Alliance. The Immigrant Support Alliance, an outgrowth of this congregation's former immigration ministry, is a nonprofit coalition of volunteers that partners with resettlement agencies to provide food, housing, financial, and social support to its clients, helping them on their journey towards becoming independent, contributing members of our communities. Our offertory anthem for today is called One Candle Lights the Way by Jay Althouse and Sally Albrecht.
Still a pure and brilliant
The reading that I want to share this morning is from former UUA President Reverend Bill Schultz, who writes, "Religion and justice are born on each other's wings. What makes them soulmates? Every single one of us knows what it's like to bleed. Every one of us has experienced pain. If that were not a fact of human existence, we might not notice the suffering of the world. And because it is, because we do, in the heart of every stranger lurks our own reflection." Teresa of Avila once said, "God has no hands or feet or voice except ours, and through these God works." Now, as Unitarian Universalists, we understand that this means it is up to us to do good works. Unitarian Universalists tend to agree that holiness, salvation come about through the works, the activities, the duties, the good works that one does in their life. This is one of those distinctions between Unitarian Universalist and other religions. We call this salvation by works. Most Christian-based religious groups believe in salvation by grace. Salvation by grace means that God, and God alone, knows and determines who is saved. And no good deeds, no amount of good deeds can influence this. Though there is the belief that if one is saved, they will naturally do good works. Interesting way to work around that little conundrum, isn't it? This is so not my belief system. Maybe not yours either, but I don't know. But I do know this. If we are people who want to do good works and to feel wholeness in our bodies, minds, and spirits, then having spiritual practices help us to be motivated to do so. And I believe that it is that soul deep emotion, compassion, that is that prime motivator that leads us to doing good works, good deeds, and which compels us to not go through life with apathy. So how do we make compassion or caring real? So first I want to take a little look through the Buddhist lens. However, before examining compassion, I want to talk about its opposite state, which is apathy. Apathy could be said to be not caring. However, I think it is more spiritually unhealthy than that. I think it is deeper than that. In my mind, apathy is an emptiness of heart, an emptiness of spirit. It's not just shutting off one's feelings because life is tough or people are challenging. Apathy is an inability to feel, express, or exhibit compassionate human feelings. Apathy is not being depressed, but certainly depression makes us feel isolated and then makes us feel distance from others' issues. Apathy is a quality of the spirit, which is an unhealthy quality. It is being unengaged with life. So compassion, the opposite of apathy, says the Dalai Lama, is based on a clear acceptance or recognition that others, like oneself, want happiness and have the right to overcome suffering. Now that concept of others like oneself needs to be thought about a little bit if we're going to go forward, if we're going to understand compassion. That others like oneself is not just feeling connection with friends, family, neighbors, those we know and wish the best for. It is feeling this for all people, all animals, all critters, all four-legged, two-legged, crawling beings. It is a core way of being that understands that connections bind all life together. It is that interconnected web of all existence, which we Unitarian Universalists like to talk about. You can even be in deep conflict with another person, even not want to be in contact with them, even not want to have them in your life, and still we are required to have compassion for them. That's a challenge. That is a challenge. Now, ultimately, we have to protect ourselves, and that's fine. So we do that. We take care of ourselves, we surround ourselves with people, but always, the Dalai Lama is reminding us we need to have compassion for all people, even those we don't want anything to do with. Compassion is not just this la-la, isn't everything great? Aren't we just all going to get along? Compassion is a deep, deep understanding of that interconnectedness, that web of existence that extends throughout every way that we are with another person. It is a soul deep joy when you truly feel compassion. Think about it when you think about your closest persons or your closest animals. Think about how that kind of warms your heart. That's what having compassion is. It's not just love. It's a soul deep connection with that beingness of that person you love or that critter that you love. That's compassion. And it is also having profound gratitude for ourselves, because if we don't take care of ourselves, then we don't have that compassion for others as well. It is making real the deepest yearnings to make caring and compassion real and to leave the world a better place, because all life and we are part of the universe. I try to make caring real because it affects the quality of my life right here and now. And I believe that the use of our talents, gifts, resources, and skills do and can make a difference in the world. We can make a difference in the world by exercising compassion. And if we're going to engage in social action, social justice, all the ways that we're called to be, then we must develop spiritual practices. And deep compassion and deep gratitude for all of life is a spiritual practice. It doesn't come easy, as I spoke about. And, Dorothy Day, that Catholic worker, reminds us that good deeds are like a pebble cast into a pond. They create ripples that spread out in all directions, making a widening circle of compassion. And our call to care comes from that place of the ripple effect that happens when we toss in a pebble of kindness. It is actualizing compassion, that caring. Now, the Eastern religions would tell us that making caring real is part of our Dharma. Now, at the risk of oversimplifying a very complicated concept, let me say that Dharma can be broken down into two major aspects. One, Dharma is the teachings or practices of all the principles of Buddhism. And then second is that Dharma is how we practice those principles, how we practice the spiritual practices in our lives to make caring real. So today I want us to think about those and the manifestation of those teachings when you make caring real. I'm always led back to the question of, why do we exist? What's our purpose? Why do I exist? What's my purpose? And I firmly believe it is to be connected to others, to serve others by using all the gifts, resources, and skills that we have and that we can develop, because none of us ever are done with our development. It happens all the time. And we have a duty to ourselves to unfold our spirituality using all the gifts, resources we have and we can develop. Jack Kornfield, who's a noted Buddhist, American Buddhist, writes in The Roots of Buddhist Psychology, "We all have, without exception, a very deep longing to give to the earth, to others, to society, to work, to love, and to care for this earth. That's true for every human being. And even the ones who don't find it, it's because it's been squashed or suppressed in some brutal way. But it's there," he writes, "it's there to be discovered, and we all long for it." And there's a tremendous sorrow, he continues, for a human being who doesn't find a way to give. One of the worst of human sufferings is not to find a way to love or a place to work or to give your heart or your being to. Our call to care, making caring real, comes from this natural desire to give. When we respond to that deep desire to give, it brings out the best of ourselves and it expands our world. It puts our own troubles in perspectives. It unites the world. It gathers up the scatteredness of individuals and helps to renew the unity of life. There is a Jewish teaching that talks about the scattered sparks of creation. It says that there are sparks of holiness that yearn to be reunited with their source through human action. When we return something to its proper place, to where it belongs, where it was meant to be, when we use something in a sacred way or a holy purpose, when we treat another human being as a human being, the captive sparks are released, the cosmos is healed. This liberation of light, this healing, is called the repair of creation. And according to one legend that this is connected to, there was once a primordial person as big as the whole universe, whose soul contained all souls. This primordial person is identical with the universe and thus with each human being that's in it, and is riddled with that divine spark, which is in need of repair. Each person, each one of us is that whole world, and each human action that we engage in plays a role in final healing of creation. Whatever we do is related to this ultimate task, to return all things to their original place of holiness. And this is why it is so important to get involved and become participants and make sure that caring becomes real. But it's not easy. Because I want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine a mall that sells everything. And you walk in and you see on display, world peace. No violence, no guns, no hunger, no homelessness, no economic deprivation, no racism, no loneliness. And you're in the mall and you want to make a purchase. You decide which is your cause. And then when you approach the desk, you're given only a seed packet. And you're told that each seed needs to be planted, nourished, watered, and tended by you. How are you going to respond? There's some days I want to turn around and run out of that store just as fast as my little legs will take me. but I know that I have community. I have a community like this, and you have a community like this, and you have neighbors, and you have groups that you belong to, and our Unitarian Universalist faith, that is where we can take our questions to, and where we can get the tools, where we can learn the skills, so that we can plant, nurture, and harvest those seed packets. Each of you, each one of you, I know, cares deeply. You empathize, you have compassion, you understand, you are the legs, feet, and voice part. And sometimes it is overwhelming, and that's why a community such as this is so important. And also, what do you do? I mean, do you just give your money away here to each person, each group that asks for it? Do you sell your clothes? Do you sell your home, your car? You can't do all of that, so you have to do some discernment. You have to discern about where your resources of time and money should go. And you should give to those projects that nurture your spirituality or help something that you have a passion for. Immigration, homelessness, violence, gun control, women's reproductive rights. There are many of them that I could name, and you all care passionately about something. Find it and make your caring real. So we can give and care in many ways. We can serve on boards. We can become educated, more fully informed. We can learn about domestic abuse, democratic engagement, hunger, illiteracy, domestic problems, equity in education, prison reform, drug abuse treatment, on and on and on. We can explore the implications of managed health care on the elderly, the mentally ill, the children, the marginalized. We can learn all of those and then find your passion. Make your caring become real. Find that which you want to get connected to. So when caring becomes real within a religious context, others are drawn to you and you're drawn to others who help support you through this, like this church, where you have your teams and your ways that you're connected. The Reverend Forrest Church often pointed out that by giving we shall receive, by becoming empty we shall be filled, by losing ourselves we shall be found. The work of justice making carry real is about the work of healing and giving and losing ourselves in that work, and the rewards are incredibly more than we can imagine, and we do it with compassion. And sometimes we can learn how to readjust and find a way to discern what really is important to us when we talk with others and learn what their passions are as well, by sharing compassion. And then caring becomes real, and we'll know the full extent of our gifts and our skills and strengths. And we'll also come to know our limitations and our shortcomings and our growing edges. And then we become more authentic and loving, compassionate persons. As a Unitarian Universalist, I say it is up to us to model and show to the world that this is what Unitarian Universalism is. We are a caring people, and we do make caring real. And that happens because of the deep compassion that we share and have with one another. And may it be so. Amen. And we have our closing hymn from the Teal hymnal, Turn the World Around, and the lyrics will be on the screen.
Water
This concludes this morning worship service, and I would invite you to read together with me the words as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish the chalice. Not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. I would invite you to come back and join us for a time of fellowship. And now I would encourage you to sit and listen to this surprise and special postlude.
I thought I'd do something a little different today and sing a little song that I wrote about a minor holiday that is very, very important to those of us who live in the Northeast. Christmas time has come and gone. New Year's Day has flown. The holidays with all their warmth are just memories that we own. Now Old Man Winter sings his song with a chorus of ice and snow. How we long for springtime's breezes, April showers and May's flower show. This time of year the icy wind is blowing cold and bitter, so our happiness we reckon on this February 2nd by the antics of a furry little critter. It's Groundhog Day, you say you didn't know. It's Groundhog Day, the day the experts go to the hills of Pennsylvania to find his little lair. The faithful few will tell us that the hope of spring lies there. It's Groundhog Day, as if you really care. Just Groundhog Day, the day the dreamers dare to wish for warmer weather and that all of our snow shovels go. It's Groundhog Day, and the world's gotta know. It's Groundhog Day amid the ice and snow. It's Groundhog Day, and the world's gotta know. Will that furry little fella stand up tall or just turn yellow? Will he play outside all day or will he run inside to tell? Oh, now will spring break through to chase our blues away? Or will the winter make a face and chase him back inside his hole to stay? On Groundhog Day, don't run away, come out and play. Look out, Alvin, that groundhog is back. Thank you, folks. I'll be here all week.